There are moments in life when a person hurts you so deeply that something inside you changes. Not because you become cold, but because you finally begin to see clearly. And when a man hurts a woman who has spent years learning patience, protecting her peace, and listening more than she speaks, he may believe he has simply broken her heart. But sometimes he has awakened something within her. Chosen one, you know what it feels like to give someone the benefit of the doubt while quietly noticing every contradiction. You know what it means to forgive while remembering the lesson. You know what it means to care deeply and still realize that your dignity cannot be traded for someone's temporary attention. They underestimated you. They mistook your kindness for weakness. They mistook your patience for fear. They mistook your silence for ignorance. They thought because you did not react immediately, you did not understand what was happening, but you were watching. You were learning. You were becoming wiser. Your silence was not weakness. Sometimes silence is the place where wisdom grows. Sometimes the strongest response is refusing to become the very thing that wounded you. You did not need to reveal every thought inside your mind. You did not need to explain every feeling. You did not need to announce every decision. There were things you understood without saying them. There were lessons you learned without making a speech about them. And there were moments when you simply stepped back because something inside you told you. Do not lose yourself trying to convince someone else of your worth. That realization is powerful, because when you stop chasing someone who refuses to value you, you begin returning to yourself. And when you return to yourself, you begin hearing the quiet wisdom that you ignored while trying to keep someone else happy. You begin asking different questions. Not, why did he hurt me? But, what is this teaching me? Not, how can I make him understand? But how can I become stronger, wiser, and closer to one God? That is where the awakening begins, because not every delay is rejection. Not every closed door is punishment. Not every ending means your life is falling apart. Sometimes one God allows a chapter to close because remaining inside it would keep you from becoming who you are meant to become. Your delay was not your ending. Your disappointment was not your destiny. Your heartbreak was not proof that you were forgotten. You were not forgotten. There may be moments when you wonder why you had to experience something that hurt so much. Why you had to lose someone you thought would remain. Why you had to discover truths you were not ready to face. But perhaps the meaning was never in the pain itself. Perhaps the meaning was in what the pain revealed. It revealed your strength. It revealed your boundaries. It revealed who you are when nobody is applauding. And most importantly, it revealed what you must never abandon again. Your dignity, your peace, your connection with one God, your sense of purpose. Truth reveals itself. You do not have to force it. You do not have to chase it. You do not have to destroy someone's reputation to prove what happened. Time has a way of exposing what people tried to hide, not always dramatically, not always immediately, but through consequences, patterns, and the simple reality of who people continue to become. And this is where justice becomes different from revenge. Justice does not require revenge. You do not need to become cruel because someone was cruel to you. You do not need to become dishonest because someone lied to you. You do not need to break someone because they broke your heart. Let your response be growth. Let your response be discipline. Let your response be peace. Let your response be becoming so deeply rooted in wisdom that another person's behavior can no longer control your identity. Chosen one, your power is not in making someone regret losing you. Your power is in no longer needing their regret. Ride that again in your heart. You do not need their regret. You need your own awakening. You need your own healing. You need your own direction. You need to become the woman who no longer abandons herself just to keep someone else from leaving. And maybe that is why this season feels different. You are beginning to see people differently. You are beginning to see situations differently. You are beginning to recognize that peace is more valuable than attention. Character is more valuable than appearance. And truth is more valuable than approval. This is what it means to carry the identity of the chosen one. Not that you are better than everyone else. Not that you are above humanity. But that you are choosing responsibility over ego, wisdom over reaction, patience over desperation, character over revenge, and faith in one God over fear of what people think. They underestimated you. Let them. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding. You do not need to explain every chapter. You do not need everyone to understand your journey. Some people will only understand your value after you stop trying to prove it. And even then, their understanding is no longer your responsibility. Your responsibility is your soul, your choices, your character, your direction, your legacy. Because your legacy is not being built by how many people admired you. Your legacy is being built by how you responded when life gave you every reason to become bitter. Your legacy is being built every time you choose patience instead of revenge. Every time you choose dignity instead of desperation. Every time you choose truth instead of manipulation. Every time you fall and still rise with wisdom, your legacy is being built. So if a man hurt you, do not let his actions become the definition of your future. Let them become a chapter, a painful chapter perhaps, a confusing chapter, a chapter that changed you, but not the final chapter, because your story is larger than one person's inability to recognize your worth. Chosen one. Breathe, release what you cannot control. Stop carrying conversations that ended long ago. Stop replaying moments that cannot be changed. Take the lesson, leave the bitterness, walk forward. On, God knows what is in your heart. And you do not need to spend your life proving yourself to people who only saw a small part of you. Your silence was not weakness. Your delay was not your ending. You were not forgotten. Truth reveals itself. Justice does not require revenge. And your legacy is being built quietly, patiently, through every difficult day you survive without losing your character. One day, you may look back and realize that what felt like rejection was redirection. What felt like an ending became a beginning, and what felt like punishment became a lesson in wisdom. So keep walking, keep learning, keep your heart humble, keep your mind disciplined, keep your spirit connected to one God. Because destiny does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it grows in silence. Sometimes divine wisdom is hidden inside the delay, and sometimes the person you become after the storm is the very person you were being prepared to become all along. Chosen one, do not chase what left you, do not destroy what hurt you, do not become what wounded you. Become wiser, become stronger, become peaceful, become disciplined. Become the woman who knows her worth without needing the world to announce it. Your journey is still unfolding. Your patience has meaning. Your wisdom is growing. And your destiny is not measured by who stayed, who left, who misunderstood you, or who failed to recognize your heart. It is measured by who you become, while one God guides you through the journey. So walk forward without hatred. Walk forward without fear. Walk forward with patience. Because what is meant to teach you will teach you. What is meant to leave will leave. And what is truly aligned with your purpose will never require you to destroy yourself to keep it. And remember this: the deepest destiny is not becoming someone others finally understand. It is becoming the person you were created to become, through patience, divine wisdom, courage, and faith in one God. And now, chosen one, there is something deeper you must understand. The moment you stop asking, "Why did he do this to me?" and begin asking, "Why was I allowed to see this?" your entire perspective changes. Because sometimes the greatest revelation is not discovering what another person intended. It is discovering what their actions revealed about you. They revealed that your heart can love deeply. They revealed that you can endure difficult seasons without losing your humanity. They revealed that you have a capacity for forgiveness, but also that forgiveness does not mean returning to the same place where your peace was repeatedly destroyed. There is a difference between having a soft heart and having no boundaries. You are learning that difference now, and this lesson may have cost you emotionally. Maybe you stayed longer than you should have. Maybe you believed promises that were never supported by actions. Maybe you kept hoping that someone would become the person you imagined they could be. And when reality finally became impossible to ignore, something inside you broke. But perhaps what broke was not your future. Perhaps what broke was the illusion that you had to keep suffering to prove that you cared. The illusion that loyalty meant tolerating disrespect. The illusion that loving someone required abandoning yourself. No, chosen one, you are allowed to walk away from what destroys your peace. You are allowed to close a door without hatred. You are allowed to forgive someone without giving them access to you again. You are allowed to remember the lesson without remaining trapped inside the pain. That is maturity. That is strength. And that is part of your awakening. There will be a time when you no longer need to explain why you left. There will be a time when you no longer need someone to admit what they did. There will be a time when their opinion of you becomes smaller than the peace you have built within yourself. And when that day comes, you will understand something profound. You were never waiting for them. You were waiting for yourself. Waiting to become brave enough to choose yourself. Waiting to become wise enough to recognize patterns. Waiting to become disciplined enough to stop repeating the same cycle. Waiting to trust that one God can guide you even when you cannot see the entire road. Because you do not need to know every step. You only need enough courage to take the next one. And perhaps that is where divine timing has been working quietly in your life, not giving you everything at once, not answering every question immediately, but teaching you patience, teaching you discernment, teaching you restraint, teaching you that sometimes the answer is not fight harder. Sometimes the answer is let go. Sometimes the answer is wait. Sometimes the answer is be silent. Sometimes the answer is walk away with your dignity intact. And sometimes the greatest protection is the door that did not open. You may have cried over that door. You may have begged for it to open. You may have wondered why one God allowed you to experience rejection. But what if the closed door was protecting a future you could not yet see? You cannot know every reason behind every event, but you can choose what the event produces inside you. You can allow pain to make you bitter, or you can allow it to make you wiser. You can allow betrayal to make you suspicious of everyone, or you can allow it to teach you discernment. You can allow rejection to convince you that you are worthless, or you can allow it to redirect you toward a deeper understanding of your own value. That choice belongs to you. And this is where the real power begins, not when someone comes back, not when someone apologizes, not when someone finally realizes what they lost, The real power begins when you realize you can be whole without any of that. Chosen one. They underestimated you, but you do not need to prove them wrong. Your growth will speak, your peace will speak, your discipline will speak, your character will speak, your life will speak. And if truth ever needs to reveal itself, let it reveal itself without you becoming consumed by the process. Truth reveals itself. You do not have to chase every shadow. You do not have to investigate every silence. You do not have to spend your nights imagining what someone else may be thinking. Bring your attention back to what you can control. Your choices, your habits, your boundaries, your prayers, your relationship with one God, your future. That is where your energy belongs. Because every minute you spend obsessing over someone who hurt you is a minute you could have spent building the woman who survives without them. And you are becoming her. Quietly, slowly, powerfully. There may still be nights when the memories return. There may still be moments when your heart asks questions your mind cannot answer. Do not be ashamed of that. Healing is not pretending that nothing happened. Healing is remembering what happened without allowing it to control what happens next. You can acknowledge the pain without worshipping the pain. You can remember the betrayal without becoming betrayal. You can remember the loss without becoming lost. And you can remember who hurt you without allowing them to become the center of your life. That is freedom. So, chosen one, if you are standing in a season where everything feels uncertain, do not assume that nothing is happening. Roots grow in darkness. Wisdom often grows through silence. Character grows through pressure. And sometimes the most important transformation in your life happens when nobody else can see it. You were not forgotten. You were being shaped by experiences you never would have chosen for yourself. And while you cannot control every chapter, you can control the person who emerges from it. So emerge wiser, emerge calmer, emerge stronger, but do not emerge cruel. Let your heart remain human. Let your standards become higher without your heart becoming harder. Let your boundaries become stronger without your soul becoming bitter. Let justice belong to one God while you focus on becoming the person you were meant to become. Because one day, the question will no longer be, why did he hurt me? The question will be, who did I become because I survived it? And when you can answer that with peace, you will know that the chapter did not destroy you. It transformed you. Chosen one, your silence was not weakness. Your delay was not your ending. You were not forgotten. Truth reveals itself. Justice does not require revenge, and your legacy is being built, not through anger, not through proving someone wrong, but through patience, divine wisdom, courage, self-respect, and an unwavering commitment to walk forward with one God. Keep going. Your story is not over. The chapter that wounded you does not get to write the ending. And perhaps the greatest revelation of all is this: what hurt you may have changed your path, but it does not have the power to decide your destiny. Chosen one, now listen carefully, because this is where the story becomes deeper. There comes a moment after heartbreak when the tears become quieter, not because you stopped feeling, but because you started understanding. You begin to realize that some people were not sent into your life to stay forever. Some encounters become lessons. Some relationships become mirrors. Some painful experiences reveal boundaries you never knew you needed. And sometimes, the person who hurts you teaches you the value of never abandoning yourself again. That realization can be painful, because you may look back and wonder how you tolerated certain things. Why did you keep giving chances? Why did you keep explaining your heart? Why did you keep hoping? But do not punish the woman you were. for not knowing what the woman you are knows today. She was learning. She was loving with the knowledge she had at that time. She was trying to make sense of something that did not make sense. Have compassion for her. She survived what she did not understand, and now she understands more. That is growth. Chosen one. You are entering a different season when you stop confusing attachment with destiny. Just because you deeply wanted something does not mean it was meant to remain. Just because you prayed for a particular outcome does not mean that outcome was the highest good for you. Sometimes one God answers through removal. Sometimes the answer is a door closing. Sometimes the answer is distance. Sometimes the answer is a truth you did not want to see. And sometimes the answer is simply time. Time reveals character. Time reveals consistency. Time reveals whether words were real or temporary. You do not need to rush the process. Let time speak. Let action speak. Let reality speak. You have spent enough time trying to decode people. Now learn to listen to yourself. Learn to recognize the feeling in your spirit when something does not align with your values. Learn to recognize when peace disappears every time you enter a certain situation. Learn the difference between temporary discomfort that helps you grow and constant confusion that keeps you trapped. Wisdom does not always shout. Sometimes wisdom is the quiet feeling that says, enough. And when you hear it, do not ignore it. You are not required to remain where your dignity is repeatedly questioned. You are not required to keep proving your loyalty to someone who keeps testing your worth. You are not required to chase someone who continually chooses distance. There is strength in releasing what you cannot control, and there is tremendous strength in refusing to retaliate, because revenge can keep you emotionally connected to the very person you are trying to escape. You think you are punishing them, but you are still giving them your energy. You are still thinking about them, still reacting to them, still allowing their actions to determine your emotions. Set yourself free. Justice does not require revenge. Let consequences belong where they belong. Let one God handle what you cannot. Your assignment is not to destroy anyone. Your assignment is to protect your character. And that is harder. Anyone can react in anger. Anyone can say cruel words. Anyone can attempt to hurt another person because they themselves are hurting. But it takes extraordinary discipline to be wounded and still choose dignity, to be betrayed and still choose integrity, to be rejected and still choose self-respect, to be misunderstood and still refuse to become desperate for approval. That is strength. That is the strength you are building. Chosen one. There is another truth you must understand. You do not need to be chosen by a person to have purpose. Your purpose existed before their approval. Your value existed before their attention. Your future existed before their presence. Do not make one person's decision the measurement of your entire existence. You are more than someone's relationship status, more than someone's opinion, more than someone's inability to love you correctly, more than the chapter that ended. You are still becoming. And perhaps the most beautiful part of your journey is that nobody can fully see what is happening inside you. They may see an ordinary woman, continuing with her life, going to work, waking up, handling responsibility, smiling when necessary, remaining quiet when necessary. But beneath that ordinary appearance, something profound is happening. You are becoming more discerning, more disciplined, more patient, more selective about what deserves your energy. You are no longer impressed by words without action. You are no longer addicted to attention without respect. You are no longer willing to sacrifice peace for temporary affection. And that is a transformation nobody can give you. You earned it through experience. You learned it through pain. You built it through patience. And one God can use even the difficult chapters of your journey to deepen your wisdom without requiring you to understand every reason immediately. So stop demanding that every unanswered question receive an immediate answer. Some answers arrive through time. Some arrive through distance. Some arrive through maturity. And some arrive when you finally stop asking. One morning, you may wake up and realize, I don't need to know anymore. That is freedom. The memory may still exist. The story may still be part of your past, but the emotional grip is gone. You no longer need an apology to move forward. You no longer need an explanation to have peace. You no longer need someone else's confession to validate what you experienced. You know what you know, and you can move forward. Chosen one. They underestimated you. They thought your quietness meant you had nothing to say. But your quietness was giving you perspective. They thought your patience meant you would tolerate anything. But your patience was teaching you when to walk away. They thought your kindness meant you could be manipulated. But your kindness was never permission to disrespect you. Your silence was not weakness. It was restraint. And restraint is power. Do not confuse softness with weakness. A woman can have a gentle heart and an unbreakable boundary. She can forgive and still leave. She can love and still say no. She can wish someone well and never return to the same environment. She can pray for someone's growth without making herself responsible for it. That is maturity. That is freedom. And that is the woman you are becoming. So when the next chapter opens, do not enter it carrying the identity of the woman who was hurt. Enter it carrying the wisdom of the woman who survived. There is a difference. One asks, will they hurt me again? The other asks, do their actions align with the values I now understand? One is controlled by fear, the other is guided by wisdom. Become the second. And remember, your delay was not your ending. You were not forgotten. Truth reveals itself. Justice does not require revenge. Your legacy is being built. Every boundary, every lesson, every quiet decision, every time you chose peace. Every time you refused to become bitter, every time you turned back toward one God instead of turning toward revenge, all of it matters. Your destiny is not rushing away from you. You do not have to chase it in panic. Walk steadily, walk humbly, walk with patience, because the woman you are becoming is more important than the person who hurt the woman you used to be. And one day, when you look back across this entire journey, you may realize that the heartbreak was not the end of your story. It was the moment you finally stopped living for someone else's approval and started living with divine wisdom. Chosen one. Keep your heart clean. Keep your boundaries strong. Keep your purpose sacred. Let one God guide what you cannot control. Let time reveal what you cannot see. Let truth speak when it is ready, and let your life become the answer to every doubt, every rejection, every misunderstanding. You do not need revenge. You need elevation. You do not need their regret. You need your peace. You do not need everyone to understand your journey. You need the courage to keep walking it, because destiny is not always revealed in the moment you want it. Sometimes destiny is revealed after the storm. When patience has matured you, when pain has educated you, when divine wisdom has reshaped you, and when you finally understand that what once broke your heart was never strong enough to break your destiny.